So you got to be a good boy. You can't say all
This
those mean
is
things
the
about
Joe
me.
Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
So mean. Good morning, Tuscaloosa. Happy Friday. Happy Friday and welcome to the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com. Hope you and yours are doing well, ready for a big weekend, first weekend of February. So guys, make sure next weekend's Valentine's Day. Make sure you're making your plans for your significant others. And ladies, make sure your plans for your significant others as well. I know we got a handful of lady listeners as well. We love everybody who is checking out the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, on the BamaCentral YouTube channel, on the BamaCentral Facebook page, who's listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. The program, we're live here in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. Call Derek for all of your insurance needs at 205-758-3391. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. All our friends at Purple Turtle Roofing for all of your roofing needs. If you've got trouble spots on your roof, if you're concerned about your home, check out Purple Turtle Roofing at roofturtle.com or give them a call today at 877-787-6635. They'll come out and give you a free roof inspection. We appreciate all our friends at Purple Turtle Roofing, Dustin Foley, Brax Garrison, and more hanging out with us on the show today. We're going to have a huge show today, a big show today. As Theo, you're dressed so super nice. Follow Theo Fernandez at Theo Fernandez _. You do want to check him out on the YouTube channel today because he is looking like a true professional because he's going to be going over to court. And so dress the part, look the part, be the part. Theo Fernandez is going to be heading over to court for WVUA 23 and for BamaCentral.com to check out the proceedings. Will Charles Bediako be eligible in 12 hours to play against the Auburn Tigers tomorrow? 12 hours being what I think will be probably about a verdict. Maybe less. We'll see. But Charles Bediako and the NCAA are going to court in Tuscaloosa today, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Alabama-Auburn basketball. We're going to predict the game, I guess, with and without Charles Bediako, potentially. And then we're going to have a great time. We might talk about Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, if you guys are YouTube channel fans, you can watch Mr. Beast. I know he's got all his crazy videos. I've actually never seen a Mr. Beast video. Theo's going to tell us what he's all about, but apparently he's asking or floating or suggesting that he might give $100 million to ECU to try to help them win a national championship. I guess he uses ECU's facilities for a lot of his videos, so he's trying to do a little, so you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. I can use your facilities and give you $100 million, but I can film all your stuff on my YouTube channel and make money off of it. So lots of things to get into today on a Friday. We hope you guys are doing well. Leave us a comment at Joe Gaither 6, at Theo Fernandez _, at BamaCentral. You can call us on the voicemail line at 205-462-7340, extension 800. Let's have a great day. Theo Fernandez, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Joe. I'm doing great.
You're looking great, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I need everyone listening to the show to please do me a favor. No matter what, do not let my mother see this episode. She has been trying for about the past 6 years to get me to quit all of these sports media shenanigans, go be a lawyer. So I think if she finds out that I'm up going to court and dressed up in a courthouse, she's probably going to flip out and start ramping this up again. So I can not let that get out.
Well, Mama Fernandez, we need a lawyer and a co-host on the show. Theo can fill both roles. I believe in you, Theo.
I've got one thing I'm good at, and that's this media stuff. You'll never see me in a court of law.
All right, sounds good. Well, are you excited about going to court today? Because apparently 9:30, roughly, it's been kind of a gray area on when it's actually supposed to start. But Charles Bediako is going to be back in court. Charles Bediako tried to get today's hearing, moved to the 18th, February 18th. That got denied. The NCAA, the last 24 hours, and really the last 48, but 24 in particular, have really ramped up the newsworthiness of this case. The NCAA in the last 24 hours has asked for the judge to strike down the temporary restraining order. Because, look, they could have a case today and not have a resolution and let the TRO stand, and Charles Bediako can play against Auburn tomorrow. But the NCAA says, no, we encourage you not only to make a ruling in our favor in this case, but to strike down the TRO while you think about making whatever ruling you're going to be making to make Charles then thus ineligible for tomorrow's Iron Bowl game and then put him on the shelf until the judge makes whatever ruling he's going to make.
This is pure, a pure normal man's understanding of the law. Believe a man is innocent until proven guilty, right? Therefore, if you're given a TRO, you're given the TRO because they're ruling you innocent. They're ruling yes, you are clear to play right now because we can't prove that you're not. Seems a little contradictory to go out and change that right now, right at this stage, because I do not think we're going to have a decision today. I do believe that it comes down to my understanding, will they listen to the NCAA, to Greg Sankey, and get rid of this TRO, strike it down and say. Now, I believe if that happened, if they struck down the TRO, Bediako would still, in theory, be able to come back if he wins the case. He just wouldn't be able to play until a decision is made.
Yes.
So a bunch of different outcomes here. They could make a decision today. They could say, yeah, you're good for the season, or no, this is ridiculous. You're done right now.
Like, it could go all kinds of ways today, and that's what was wild. Let's move into. Let's just keep going right here, and Greg Sankey throwing a big old stink bomb into the whole case, comes out and basically supports the NCAA, supports their case, supports their side of the things, and supports striking down the TRO, basically hoping that the NCAA, the courts support the NCAA decision. Let's see if I've got the. Inconsistent application of the NCAA eligibility rules changed this case through court rulings or otherwise. It fuels disruption on college sports, Greg Sankey said. So really, he's coming out and saying that the NCAA should be right. Charles Bediako shouldn't be eligible. I find this to be a pretty fascinating development in this case, because it's one of your member schools. And look, it's not your South Carolina's, Missouri's, Arkansas, and it's not your Mississippi State, and maybe all those schools are on footing with Alabama, but right here in Tuscaloosa and in Alabama, I don't think that they are on the same footing. This is Alabama. This is your big brand. This is Alabama. This is Georgia. This is Texas. This is Florida. This is one of your big brands in the SEC, and you're coming out making life more difficult for one of your member institutions.
Yeah, Joe, to tell the truth, I'm pretty shocked by this. Like, you don't see Greg Sankey come out and do this, right? You don't see a conference figurehead say something so adamantly against one of his member schools, especially when, let's remember, Trinidad Chambliss and Joey Aguilar have similar cases in the next month. Will he go against Tennessee and against Ole Miss as well? Will he be? Is he going to go out on a limb and shut those cases down as well? Yeah, this is the most, just about the most relevant thing in the conference right now is court cases. Saw someone on Twitter say they're surprised they didn't package the three together on SEC Network to air. Right? This is the biggest story in the conference. It is, will these players be able to play college sports this year, next year? It is a big deal. And for the conference commissioner to come out with something so adamantly against the school, so adamantly pro NCAA, is really surprising, especially when you look at the context of all the, is there friction between the SEC and the NCAA? The SEC wants more money. They want more college football spots. Oh, could the SEC and Big Ten leave? Like, no, this is so pro NCAA. Really, really, maybe the most surprising part of this case and the way it's unfolded for me.
I agree. I thought that Greg Sankey would just stay silent and just let the court cases happen, and then when whatever happens, then make his statement. Well, I wish this would have happened. Well, we're happy that this did happen or that did happen. I'm surprised that he put out a statement and basically sided with the NCAA before any proceedings happened, because this is, I think that Nate Oates and I think Greg Byrne are upstanding men and good businessmen, so they're not going to just create friction with Greg Sankey. But this is going to create underlying friction between Greg Byrne and Greg Sankey, and thus Nate Oates and Greg Sankey. There's going to be some of course they're going to still shake each other's hands at all the events, and they're still going to smile and nod, that sort of thing. They're not going to be any sort of real blow-ups. That's not what I'm saying. But there's just going to be some underlying, you kind of not stabbed us in the back, but sort of stabbed us in the back. You didn't support your member institution, which I think is a pretty unusual look for a conference commissioner.
I would love to hear about what kind of conversations have happened behind closed doors.
Yes.
Because I could see it. I can see a couple factors contributing. One is maybe Sankey has done his due diligence and reached out and realized, okay, there's no way Bediako is going to win this case. We have an opportunity here to save face with the NCAA.
Sure.
You maybe has talked and said, okay, there's no way Chambliss and no way Aguilar are going to win. And, I may as well get out ahead of this. This is an easy opportunity to get some grace with the NCAA.
Well, I'm in a strange personal position right here because on one hand, what's best for college athletics and what's best for the SEC is for Charles Bediako and is for Joey Aguilar and Trinidad Chambliss to have their eligibilities expire. And so that we can get back to a 5 years to play for. You're playing from 17 to 22 years old, 21 years old, and you're out into the professional world after your college days are over.
Why is that best for the NCAA?
It's best for all of college athletics. Why? Because you don't have the European coming in basketball specifically. You wouldn't have the European coming in. Once you've played professional, you got to close all these loopholes. Closing all these loopholes, the Europeans come to the NCAA. That's what's happened a couple years ago. You've played 2 years in Barcelona. You've played 2 years in whatever the case may be, professional league. Now you're coming to college. You have 4 years of eligibility. That's just not right. You shouldn't be having a 25-year-old, 26-year-old, 27-year-old basketball player playing against freshmen, playing against 19-year-olds, playing against 18, 19-years old. It's not what the heart of college sports is about. It's not what the college sports has been about my whole life. And so closing these loopholes, and the loopholes started with the European basketball players. They continued with the COVID-19 basketball players and COVID-19 athletes. Oh, everybody gets the COVID year free and extra years, this, that, and the other. And then it continued with the Diego Pavias of the world of JUCO challenges. Oh, my JUCO years didn't count. You're limiting my ability to make money. Well, college is supposed to be a finite time in everyone's life. We all love college. We all had a great time in college, but you shouldn't be a career student, right? You shouldn't be a career. Well, now I'm majoring in English. I got my English major. Now I'm majoring in business. Well, you're supposed to do something with these majors. You're supposed to get out of college at some point and do something professionally, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a firefighter, whether you're a businessman, whether you're a professional basketball player. You're supposed to do something. College is supposed to be a finite. It is the post-high school last little bit of education before you go into the real world and become a member of society. What has happened here is NIL has made it lucrative. And look, I understand you need to make good business decisions. NIL has made it lucrative to stay in college and to be in college, because if I can make 50 grand, in fact, it's more than that. If I can make 500 grand playing college basketball, well, an NBA team, I'm not quite good enough for an NBA team. I can't quite get onto a roster. It's more beneficial. Charles is a great example. Charles is probably making more money this semester than he is on a G League contract. And so it's beneficial to him to be here, but that's just not the spirit of college. And so you said, why is it good? It's good because we need to get back to the spirit of college athletics. And of course, you're not going to put the toothpaste back in the tube. Money is out there and the kids are playing for money. Okay. Well, you got to have some sort of restrictions of when a player is done with their eligibility. And Joey Aguilar, you're done with your eligibility. Trinidad Chambliss, you're done with your eligibility. And unfortunately, Charles Bediako, my personal position is that you gave up your eligibility 2 summers ago when you went to the draft early, and that ended up being a bad decision. Theo, I've got to live with my bad decisions. I've made plenty of bad decisions in my life. The consequences are ones I have to bear. And of course, I don't want people to have bad consequences, but sometimes that's what happens when you make a bad decision. Now, the fan side of me, I told you, I'm in a mix emotions. The I went to Alabama side of me, the I want to see Alabama basketball win side of me, the Alabama needs a forward in a bad way side of me says, yeah, look at all these Europeans who have come into school. Look at James Najee getting his eligibility. And because of that, I do think that Charles should win his case today. I do think that the judge should keep the TRO in place because of what's happened in these other schools. James Najee is eligible. You've got all these other European players who are eligible. Like, the cat's out of the bag.
Yes.
You've got to get it back in the bag at some point. So maybe you have Greg Sankey saying, hey, this statement that I'm making is to try to keep the cat in the bag just a little bit.
You have to get the cat back in the bag. But how is it fair to do it right now?
It's not.
It is completely unfair to give these guys, to allow all these European players and all of these Carson Becks and Diego Pavias, and you've outlined all the cases. I think it is completely and utterly unfair to do it right now, in the middle of the year, and to take these guys who, quite frankly, all have a valid case of why they should be able to play college athletics. To tell them they can't when others were able to, and it's all moving so fast, I think it's not right. I think that I agree with the heart of your statement with this is not college athletics. This is not how it should be. College, finite period, all that stuff. I agree with.
Sure.
Come out and give us clear guidelines on how we are going to resolve this situation. NCAA is one of the most incompetent organizations I've ever encountered. And I think it is completely unjust to take these athletes that have an opportunity to earn generational, life-altering money,
certainly,
while getting an incredible opportunity to play the sports they love. I think it's completely unfair to take that away from them just because this completely incompetent organization says it's time. I believe that, quite frankly, just about everyone who wants to play college sports should be allowed to play right now until you give us a solution. Until you say, okay, here are the rules. They will go into effect starting on X date. You give us a start time to this. That way, no one's going around feeling slighted. No one has a case to say, well, I was robbed of having this opportunity. It's hard to rectify a situation that is so broken. But taking away players' eligibility mid-season is not the answer. Telling guys who are halfway through this situation and are fighting in court right now that they can't play is not the answer. Making a Chambliss or an Aguilar or a Bediako or a James Najee the villain is not the answer. And that's, quite frankly, I think, horrible that this is where the discourse has gone to. That you go online and you see, Alabama's Charles Bediako, like, this is horrible. That I get it as far as from a fan perspective, like, yeah, you should heckle the guy when he's playing. The fact that these guys are getting attacked online and the fact that the discourse is so negative because a bunch of college athletes, because Trinidad Chambliss, a Division II football player, a guy who never thought realistically that he would be in this kind of position, is trying to go back to a school where he is loved, where he is the hero on campus, right? The fact that he's trying to go back and make some money and play football there for one more year. That is not the problem in this situation. The problem is the NCAA. They're horrible management. Their horrible mismanagement of rules over the past 5 years. Give us a solution. Give us a date that it's going to go into effect, and let the kids play until we get to that point.
It's going to be crazy today in Tuscaloosa. As Charles Bediako has his case heard by a Tuscaloosa judge. I think it's Daniel Pruitt is the judge's name. I believe. I guess that tab is dead. Okay, great. I guess that tab is dead. Keep on reading. I want to scroll back up. I cannot.
It is Daniel Pruitt.
All right, just wanted to make sure the honorable judge, Daniel Pruitt, will preside over the case. Theo's going to be over there. Hunter Cyber is going to be over there for BamaCentral as well. So make sure you're following those guys. They're not going to let you have your phones out in the courtroom. So Theo, make sure that you have a notepad and a little pen. Right, exactly. So when you get out of the courtroom, then you can whip your phone out and start tweeting everything that you wrote down, notes wise. So make sure you follow those guys. Theo Fernandez _, Hunter Cyber on the Twitter machine, and they're going to be writing for BamaCentral.com for what happens. We'll hear from Nate Oates at 12:30. We'll hear from him, and it's supposed to be about tomorrow's Auburn basketball game. There's going to be a mixture of questions depending on how long this takes. I don't think it's going to be resolved today. I don't think it's going to be resolved by the time Nate Oates has his press conference. And personally, if I were the Alabama side, I might hold off on a Nate Oates press conference until there is some sort of hey, there won't be a resolution today, or we're coming with a resolution in an hour. I think that I might hold off on a press conference. But hey, I'm not in charge, and they're going to have Nate Oates available at 12:30. I will be over there in Colby Coliseum's media room today at 12:30. So I was planning, Theo, on asking, hey, what's the biggest difference in Auburn? What do you notice is the biggest difference in Auburn with Stephen Pearl at the helm? But I'm rethinking if that's going to be my route because of all this drama. I was going to try to make it on the court about Auburn, War Eagle, Iron Bowl. We're going down there, big game. But I don't know. I don't know if that press conference is going to get hijacked by Charles Bediako rulings.
Look, I mean, I've been covering this team for 3 years in some capacity. And obviously Alabama's not a good example because we just had a couple of years ago another national story involving the team that did not involve on-court performance, right? But you think just how rarely situations like this come around, right? You've got 90% of the season to worry about the on-court. For me, when I see a situation like this, man, I'm going to make the most out of covering it in every capacity. You know, one of the rare times where Alabama basketball is the biggest story in the country. That doesn't happen all that much, you know, and obviously Alabama's in the national spotlight a lot. You know, you've gotten college game days, you made these deep tournament runs, but a situation like this really ramps that up to the next level.
Absolutely. So we'll hear from Coach Oates at 12:30 today. Alabama is a 1.5-point underdog in tomorrow's Iron Bowl game. It'll be at 3:00 on ESPN2. We're going to have Katie Wyndham and Hunter Cyber down there in Auburn for that game. Have you ever been to a basketball game in Auburn?
No, I've been to a wheelchair basketball game. I've announced a bunch of those in the old, I'm blanking on the name of the old arena, but I've not been inside. Neville,
you need to make that a priority for you before you get out of the state of Alabama, whether that's by graduation or by job requirements. It is the ninth ring of hell. In the sense that it is loud. Now, like from a I like college basketball standpoint, it's amazing. Like I'm saying ninth ring of hell to paint a picture of how loud and how intense and how just on edge you feel when you're walking in there, because the people are crowded onto each other. The balcony hangs basically right over the basketball court from the top end, so you have both levels just right on top of the court. The standing room only for this is on the concourse. So the last time I went there to cover a game, they had media basically at the very top of one of the sections, and there were Auburn fans standing right behind me, maybe they were in my personal bubble. They were in my personal bubble. Rah, 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 War Eagle this, Auburn basketball, boo, Alabama. It was one of the best experiences I have had in my life, because it was just so intense and so energized that I felt like I was at a rock concert, and a mixture of a rock concert and a religious experience, because the people were just going so berserk. It's going to be a hard game. It's going to be tough to go in there. You got to be mentally tough to go in there. You bounce back over the weekend. You beat Bucky Ball, so you got a very good win, and luckily nobody really got hurt in that game. We'll see what happens. We'll see. We'll see if everybody has stayed healthy over these 2.5 days. Did you hear Coach Oates talking about health the other day?
No, I don't think so.
He was talking about health, and I think this was after the game. This was after the game, and he was talking about how, Latrell just bumped into somebody at practice, and he's got a scare with his Achilles, had to miss practice. Like, just little things just keep happening with his team. So we'll see if the team is healthy over the last 2 days. And yeah, you go into Auburn in a game that you've got to win if you want to stay in a top 4 position, or position yourself for a top 4 spot. Right now, I think you're still at 7 in the SEC standings. Going to be a huge game tomorrow against the Auburn Tigers.
Joe, I'm going to probably shock the world here.
Are you going to pick Alabama?
I do believe Alabama will win this game, which goes very against
kiss of death
my recent predictions. But the more I look at this,
kiss of death.
It is, yeah. It's Alabama probably won't after I pick them, but I still have a really, really tough time getting a read on this Auburn team.
Sure.
Right? Like, they have just been, like, I don't know what this Stephen Pearl basketball team is still.
Here you go. Auburn is 27th in KenPom. Alabama 22nd in KenPom, so just a few places above Auburn for the Crimson Tide. Auburn is offensive efficiency at number 12 overall, 125.1, 12th best offensive efficiency in the nation. But Auburn's defense is just as bad as Alabama's. It is at 69th overall, 103.1. Per the 40 minutes. Alabama is at 3 in offensive efficiency, 127.7. So you're what's that? 9 spaces ahead of Auburn in offensive efficiency, and you're 2 spaces behind them. You're at 71 in defensive efficiency at 103.3. So your last 2 games, you had gotten all the way up to 58. But Florida and Missouri dropped you back down to 71 overall in defensive efficiency. Auburn playing at the nice and slow pace of 67.4. They're 176th in pace this season. Alabama is 4th in pace this season. So you've got a little better offense, basically the same defense, and you're going on the road.
How do you evaluate a team that convincingly loses to Missouri, then goes on the road and beats Florida? Like, I mean, Auburn has just all year been so hot and cold. I mean, they were in a rock fight with South Carolina in their own building. Nearly lost that game a week after blowing out Arkansas. Like, their results are just so bipolar, man.
Does Auburn just play whatever game their opponent is playing? Look at these scores. Houston 73-72 loss. You played Texas A&M 90-88. Like, you're basically just playing the other team's style. You said rock fight with South Carolina. Well, South Carolina stinks. Yeah. 71-67 win. You just played their game, the other team's game, basically.
And I will say, I mean, I don't know if you watched, Joe, their first 2 games, but I watched those 2 games basically all the way through.
Georgia and A&M. Yeah, go ahead.
Georgia 100-400 was one of the games of the year. And then A&M, which you guys probably remember all the controversy.
Oh, that's the 1 second game.
That game. Yes. Which was incredible. And the
you got a millisecond?
What was it? The Georgia game, I think Auburn was down 5 and with like 5 seconds or something.
Yes, they did. Forced overtime with
lost.
Georgia. That's right.
Auburn's had some crazy moments to their credit this year. You got blown out by Purdue. You got blown out by, I think it was Arizona and Michigan were the other two that, ran them off the court. But like this, I could see this game. Oh, should I say this? Yeah, I will. I can see this game being an Alabama blowout victory.
Oh,
I could see Auburn winning it. It's really hard to get a read, but I could see Alabama coming out. And if Alabama's having its day, Auburn is the kind of basketball team that could just crater, right? This team, you talk about Alabama and the floor being low. Auburn's floor is horrendously low. Excuse me. It's hard. These Tigers are an interesting squad.
Yeah, I don't see an Alabama blowout because I think the folks in Neville Arena are going to be on 12 the whole time, and they'll be able to help Auburn rally back into games if they fall down 10, if they fall down 8. I'm just trying to search my heart, whether it's my heart or whether it's my gut. I do think Alabama, I think today's court case is huge. Yeah. If Bediako remains eligible, that I think it all hinges on that. Because if Bediako remains eligible, somebody asked me, well, what have you really gotten from Bediako? What you've gotten from him is you put Noah Williamson back on the bench. Noah Williamson's minutes have gone right down the tube. Has gone to like 2 minutes a game, and honestly, that's all you need from him. That if you're playing him more than the 2 minutes in the first half, 2 minutes in the second half, you're playing him too much because he's been better since the calendar turned over to 2026. He's still largely a liability for you. Yes. He's still largely unathletic out there. He's still largely not very strong with a basketball, and he's still largely offensively nothing. An offensive just waste of space. And so, look, Charles isn't giving you 3-point shooting, and he's not really, he's been a fine free throw shooter. He's a much better rim roller, and he's a much better rebounder than Noah Williamson. And so what it's done, has he given you 20 points and 10 rebounds a game? No, and I don't think he will at any point this year. But he has put Noah Williamson back on the bench. If he's ineligible, if Bediako isn't eligible and you are throwing Noah Williamson back into a 12 minutes a game type of role, you're really, really crunched in the front court because it's Aiden Sherrill, his 20 minutes or so, and he has played, I think, better and better throughout the year. But right behind him, it's nothing. It's is Taylor Boboan healthy? It's Keaton Bristow's on the bench. Noah Williamson is a liability. So it's nothing. It craters your lineup without Charles Bediako. So if Bediako at least keeps his eligibility until something else is ruled and can play tomorrow, can play against Auburn, then I do think Alabama will win.
On the contrary,
go ahead.
If he gets ruled ineligible and the team comes out wearing free Chuck shirts, the effect. I mean, that'll you're playing for Chuck now. Almost need a martyr on this team, right?
Maybe I see your point there, and I see that angle, but
no, you need what he brings on the basketball.
I can be inspired to fight the tiger. You know what I mean? I can be really inspired. Oh, the tiger ate my friend. I'm going to go get the tiger, right? The tiger's still going to eat me, no matter how fired up I am, because I'm physically deficient. You need Charles on this team. Not to say that Auburn is going to swallow you up, but if the NCAA swallows up Charles Bediako, you can say, oh, we're going to go get these other teams. Well, you're still playing with one arm behind your back.
You don't think Noah Williamson could slay a tiger?
No, I do not. I don't really want to see Noah Williamson attempt to do anything athletic.
Who on the team is most likely to kill a tiger? I think it's
Amari Allen. It's Grant Hill.
It's probably Bediako, for being honest, right? As far as,
why are you saying that?
I think
because of his age, because he's tall.
No, I just think he's the biggest, most aggressive, player.
Is he the most aggressive player on the team? Who's the meanest SOB on the team?
Nah, it's probably Allen there.
Yeah. Amari Allen's the one player you don't want to get in a cage fight with on this team. Maybe London Jemison as well.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess Houston Millette would probably outsmart the Tiger and like find a place.
Houston Millette would bite the Tiger in the nose. You're right. He would just grab it. He would bite the Tiger. You're right. He's a tough son of a gun. Houston Millette would die on his shield.
We're off the rails here.
That's okay.
That's
that's the spirit of the show.
Should do a mascot fighting like segment before every game now. I think that's the
who's most likely to take down the Auburn Tiger. It's Houston. It's to me, it's Amari Allen 1, and it's Houston Millette 2.
No, you see, like I think Houston Millette would like be able to set a trap or something or find a play. You know, like he would. I think he'd find a way to avoid facing it head on.
He'd bait it into something.
Yeah,
you probably were right.
I think that's how it would go.
You're probably right. I think
I'd love to watch that unfold.
I would not.
I mean, I don't want to see any of our players.
So somebody's blood and gut. It's either the Tiger or Houston Millette, and we don't like that.
I'm putting my money on Houston. I've got Houston Millette.
Pete is going to give this show a call.
Yeah,
Pete is going to be upset with us, and Houston's father is going to be upset with us as well.
I think Houston's father. I think Wesley would back me up on this. I think he knows his son's abilities.
He would back you up that his son would win, but he doesn't want to see this fight.
No, we don't want to see. I mean,
you just said we want to see it.
Okay.
Okay, so you're playing at 3:00 tomorrow. I think you win if Charles is eligible. I think you lose if he's not.
It's interesting. So the Iron Bowl of basketball decided in a courthouse on Friday afternoon in Tuscaloosa. Man, I can't believe like the biggest story of a basketball season involves just going to court. And this is fun, man.
Is it fun? This is not what college athletics should be about.
No, but I think it's really cool that we get to be around this, and this is going to be a storyline that is talked about for a very long time.
Oh yeah, 100%. Part of my position on this whole Charles Bediako thing, Theo, has been that I think Nate Oates is playing multiple games here. One, I think Nate Oates wants to win basketball games, first and foremost. And I think he knows his team needs a forward. And I think he sees a forward that can help his team. There's no high schooler that's coming onto this roster right now that's enrolling early and coming onto this roster and helping them out. And so, like, his position from several weeks ago of, I don't want these professionals to take away opportunities from high schoolers, that doesn't apply right here. Charles only has one year of eligibility. I also think what Coach Oates is trying to do at the moment is irritate everyone into real rules.
Yes.
And so part of this defiance, I think, is, hey, well, give us real rules. Did you hear him the other day on Hey Coach?
No, what did he say there?
On Hey Coach, I mean, this was Monday, leading up to the Friday today's court case. And essentially, Coach Oates was like, well, we want to recruit high schoolers. We want to recruit high schoolers. We want to give opportunities to high schoolers. That's what we believe college is about. And essentially, this is all paraphrased, but he says, we want to recruit high schoolers, but if the rules continue to be in flux or continue to be ambiguous, then we might have to get creative and look into some of these European leagues. I had a friend, a great listener to the show. He's going to know who that I'm talking about him as I'm referencing this, who is retweeting Korean basketball. Korean or Japanese, one of the two. But Asian basketball, where this guy is 27 years old and banging 14 threes. And I go, does he have eligibility left? Yes, he hasn't been to college yet. He can do the Filip Jovic. He can do the James Najee. Come to school and get 4 years of eligibility. Right. So you go out, you get a 27-year-old Korean who makes 14 threes a game, and just break the system even further. Like, I think that Coach Oates is like sitting here ready to, hey, is my Charles Bediako case going to get my player one more one semester and give him more tape to hopefully advance his career into the, he's helping Charles on one hand. He's helping his own team on another hand, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of this is selfishness, but a lot of this is, I think, Coach Oates pressing the gas to all right, are we going to get real rules? Am I going to go back to recruiting high schoolers, or am I about to really break this thing and I'm going to Europe and Korea and Israel and everywhere in the world, and I'm just going to pull in a super team of 25-year-olds?
That's a cool idea, Joe. I think Nate Oates wants to win basketball games.
That's why I said that first.
I think he wants to win basketball games. I don't really believe.
You don't think he's trying to trailblaze for some rules?
I don't think Nate Oates is thinking, oh man, I'm going to be a trendsetter here. So I was talking to former Alabama superstar John Copeland last night. He's in working a Crimson cover at WVUA.
Very nice.
He was talking about it, and he was just like, man, like he was not happy at all with the situation.
I'm sure.
And his take on it, which I disagree with personally, was that like this, he thinks this is going to follow Nate Oates and the Alabama basketball program around. He called it basically just an egregious overstep, something that goes against the way it should be played, and that this will be a defining piece of Nate Oates' Alabama legacy. I personally don't really see it. I think people have a goldfish memory, especially with how I think this season will end for Alabama. Nobody will really be thinking about this in 5 years or so. Now, if Alabama were to go on a big run and, oh, wow, Alabama cuts down the nets with a pro player, then it's probably a story. But I think you're okay with whatever the narrative around your team is if you're a winner. Right?
Well, I'm not going to say I disagree with John Copeland, because I do think this is going to follow Coach Oates. I think it's going to be part of his story from here on out. And look, if you go out in the round of 32, that story becomes, well, you couldn't get to the Sweet 16 with an NBA G Leaguer. Like, obviously, if you win the whole dang thing, it's, well, you had to get an NBA G Leaguer to win anything. And like asterisk, but like either way, people are going to use it as well, you couldn't get to the Sweet 16. You're a terror. You're a cruddy coach. You're a rule breaker. You're a cheater. This, that. Like, I think that there's always going to be a group of college basketball fans that are, whether you're the old school fans, I think the old school fans are going to kind of attach this to Coach Oates' name for the rest of his career. And I think obviously the rival fans, the Auburn fans, the Tennessee fans, and like they're going to take that track anyways, right? And if Coach Oates, I hope he never leaves, but if he leaves, then whatever new school he goes to, those rivals will be, well, y'all had to hire the coach who got the G League or kind of thing. So while I don't think the neutral younger fan is going to hang on to it, but I do think everybody over the age of 60 will. They got longer memories.
Yeah,
you and I, we grew up on the cell phone, so it's like 5 seconds later, what's the news story?
No, it's one of the tweets that went viral about this situation was someone saying, there have only been 2 times where I've ever said, how is that guy playing right now? And they both involved Alabama basketball. So I do kind of
right.
I almost feel like this and the case a couple years ago might get almost subconsciously grouped together of
for sure.
Part of Nate Oates being he's gonna. I don't know if people will take the positive framing of he's always going to stand by his guys versus the national discourse will probably be he just doesn't care about the rules to an extent. But I think that when people talk about Nate Oates in however many years, this really will be not something that the average person brings up or even particularly remembers all that much.
We will see how it unfolds.
As big a story as it is right now, I know that kind of downplays the real intent because this has such real consequences for so much in the coming months, right? This is still one of the biggest days of the year for college sports.
Absolutely. So let's get out of here. You got to go get set up for your court appearance. Make sure you get your pen and paper. You ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Notepad.
Do some handwriting, man.
There we go.
Elementary school.
Let's finish up the program by telling everybody about Purple Turtle Roofing. We love Purple Turtle Roofing. We appreciate them being a part of the program. At Purple Turtle Roofing, we're not just another contractor. We're your neighbor and your advocate when it comes to protecting your home or business. With years of hands-on experience, top-tier certification, and a commitment to excellence, we've built a reputation reputation as Alabama's go-to roofing solution. Dustin Foley and his crew specializes in residential roofing, commercial roofing, emergency storm repairs, full-on roof replacements, insurance claim support, and more. Check them out online at roofturtle.com. You can see all their services, find out how to contact them, and get some referrals and some reviews right there at roofturtle.com. All right, Theo, last thing for us is predicting the game. Ken Palm has Alabama losing 88-86. As I said, I'm going to stick with my prediction. If Bediako plays, I think Alabama will win, and I think Alabama will win 91-87. If Charles Bediako does not play, I think Auburn will win, and I think Auburn will win 86-79.
All right, Joe, come on. If you're going to give those two predictions, you have to also make the prediction, will Charles Bediako play?
No.
You're going to say no.
I think today's going to end up with some bad news for Alabama. I think you're going to see either the court make a ruling that he is ineligible, thus shutting down the TRO as well in the same process. Yeah, I think you're either going to go to that, or he's going to shut down the TRO and come back in a week and make a ruling, and it's going to also be negative for Alabama. Just a gut feeling right now that this is not going to go Alabama's way.
I do agree with your gut feeling one way or the other. I do not think Bediako will be on the court against Auburn. I don't think it'll matter. I, for the first time in a very, very long time, feel pretty solid about Alabama's chances to go out and win a game, and I think Alabama will do it and avoid going down to the wire. Give me Alabama 85-71.
There we go. Stephen Pearl, welcome to your first Iron Bowl as head coach. Goodness gracious. If you'd have told me that a couple months ago, I'd have been like, what? Crazy. As Bruce Pearl retires a couple of weeks before the season actually starts. The Iron Bowl of basketball is so much fun, and it's tomorrow at 3 o'clock. You can follow it at BamaCentral.com. We got softball going yesterday with a huge run rule victory. The ladies smacked the mess out of the softball, and you went with a freshman pitcher who got things done in the circle. The Buzz Classic continues. We'll have all kinds of coverage on BamaCentral.com for the rest of the weekend for softball. Baseball opens next week, so we'll talk about baseball next week as well, and we'll get back on the football track. We didn't do anything with Mr. Beast today, but if you've got a good YouTuber that likes Alabama football, you guys need to hype him up and get him to donate NIL funds. Hey, we're a YouTuber. You guys, you guys want to get Alabama football some money? Y'all can all watch the Joe Gaither show on BamaCentral on BamaCentral.com, and you get me up to Mr. Beast level. Then who knows? Maybe we can do $100 million for Alabama football.
Or at least buy him, a backup running back.
There you go. Exactly. Theo, anything else you got for the people for the weekend? Because we won't be back till Monday.
No, that's everything that I got. Hey, last weekend without Alabama baseball. That's fun. I'm excited.
Fun for you, I guess. But we'll talk about that next week. Thanks to you being on the show, we will pay attention a lot more to baseball. This has been the week right here on the Joe Gaither Show. We'll talk to you on Monday. Win, lose, or draw. I hope that you leave us a voicemail at 205-462-7340, extension 800. Leave us a voicemail on what happens with Charles Bediako today. Leave us a voicemail reacting to Alabama and Auburn on the court tomorrow. Leave us a voicemail with whatever you've got on your football brain for our Monday show, and we'll talk about it right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com.